What it is. Um, Hi guys, we're just talking about targeted individuals here, and just want to talk about my own story with it, how I got initiated into this program. And what happened is I had lived most of my life in a little town called Dallas, where I had lived most of my life. Now I'm in Salem, and it's somewhat like other people. Um, I just noticed that people started playing with their phones, lifting their phones up, and to see my reaction, to see what would happen. I started getting gang stalked, as they would say, just random people, again, phones, or doing something just strange. And then at night, I would get home. I was working as a CNA at a nursing home for 25 years or so. And I noticed one of the nurses at the nursing home started befriending me, and Charlene, and what's her name? And then somebody said that she had said to one of the CNAs, go out there and follow him. And yeah, I won't say her last name or anything like that. And so anyway, people started acting funny, lifting their phones up and uh, acting strange, but then saying weird things like police or cop. I would go off in the distance, be walking away, and somebody would be yelling cop or police. And that didn't make any sense because in my entire life I had never called the police or gotten anybody in trouble for anything. And so that was strange. And then I would go home and I would hear voices, these voices that would literally come through the walls. It wasn't like I didn't even know what target individuals were, or it wasn't. I noticed what InfoWars was and conspiracy theories, but like most people, I didn't believe in too much. And like, well, the government could have done stuff. They did stuff in the past, but now they're a better FBI. They don't believe in torture or, you know, well, evidently they do, and we know it. And I didn't know that at the time, but I'd get these voices that would come in from underneath, and I would look at the Wi-Fi on the computer, and it would say FBI surveillance van. And if you see that on yours, I asked a relative of mine, it's like, oh, that's just teenagers playing FBI surveillance. And I was thinking, well, okay, but it's illegal to mimic or impersonate an officer of any kind. It's illegal. And it's like, oh, they're just teenagers, don't worry about it. But it stayed there. And I noticed that things on my computer just started uh, moving by themselves, like the mouse, the arrow. It started moving by itself, and then and then it would suddenly turn off by itself, and then turn on to another, and then for a long time nothing. And then I looked, and then I had somebody who I thought was screwing with me, and I noticed somebody had put a code in their computer, like saying that something like this is in regards to your little sister or girlfriend or something of that nature, like as if. And I was thinking, well, if there were weird things are happening to me, very weird things, and if I ask anybody, they just, oh, who knows? Could be, a coincidence or something. And it's like, okay, it could be. But I thought, well, if somebody was to make fun of me, what's the easiest thing that normally people or guys would call somebody? First thing comes to mind, most people, most guys call somebody a dumbass. And sure enough, I go on the computer, and that was the password. That's the thing. It was blocked out for months, and I put in dumbass too. And sure enough, that's the thing that opened the computer. And then a little eye showed up, on what looked like an eyeball showed up and almost blinked, and then it stopped everything. Anyway, so I didn't know what target individuals were. I didn't know what these two or three voices. It's actually just a guy and a gal yapping. And I thought it was the neighbors because they had rented the next door in the below downstairs garage belonged that they parked their vehicles. It was downstairs. And everybody acting like everything was fine, nonchalant. Of course, weird things were happening to me. And it got me really whacked. And I was also going through a change in medication where the whole 2016 opioids thing happened, and 18 years of being on medication for a constant chronic side pain that I still feel. I don't know if right here, and that sounds nutty, but it's an actual discussion within the TI, targeted individual community, whether the V2K voices or the electronic shocks that we momentarily have, and it's literally like an electronic punch, and it could be here, right here, here. It just happens, and you don't know why, but you don't. Let's see. You don't really know if it's um, an implant of some kind, or some people think it has to do with a DNA sequence. We don't know what it is. We just know um, that we're hearing these voices, V2K, and we're getting these electronic pulsating shocks. And so, whether it's an implant right here, I looked at the Kane video where I actually saw um, the person got the x-rays of said implants and put it on the web. All I know is I've had a side pain that's a chronic pain for, I don't know, since I was about 19 or 20 years old. It's a chronic one. Whether it be, on one hand, um, the idea that it would be a slander to say that somebody put something if I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just know I feel a constant pain. And it'd be a slander if somebody did something like that and they didn't do it. But what is not a slander, if there's 3 or 4 medical professionals that put something and covered it up, but what is not a slander is that for us TIs, people who go through this daily, the V2K, the voice to skull technology, look it up. It's all everywhere on the internet. It is not a slander that we 100% know that in our little towns, in our big cities, wherever you live, the people going through this are genuinely being harassed by people, a lot of times in government, in law enforcement. Yeah, if you're watching, talking to you, law enforcement and City Hall, and that cover up is going on. And there is no doubt in our heart or mind that this is genuinely happening. And this is not an issue of 3 people or 4 people cover up. This is a cover up by 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people, maybe hundreds. And they get money for it. They may not know the details of what they're a part of, but that there is a massive cover up, and that they're doing this treatment, this harassment to people. That is not slander. We know 100% that they're doing it to us. 100%. And it's certainly not slander. We know 100% that they know they're doing something evil to us. And time will tell. I don't think they can wait 70 years like with the previous MK Ultra. I think the pressure is on with the internet. And they're going to wish they didn't do it. But the bell has already been rung, and they can't unring it. So it's time. You guys can't wait 50 or 60 years. You might think you can, but the bell's already rung and you can't unring it. So the day's coming, and it's not going to go well for your future or your legacy. And you be prepared for that.